I want to help.
Yeah, but that it is really high. To your point. Yeah. She also had a small amount of meth in her system, but like a very small amount. Not that, nothing matters how much, but very small. She had been viciously raped.
Oh, no.
I don't want him to get viciously. I mean, viciously by both men. She had lacerations on the inner and outer parts of her genitals. And she had actually died from blood loss to those injuries. She died from blood loss from being raped so bad.
That's not very common in when there is a rape in a murder. Mm-hmm. That's not usually the way that the victim dies.
She was raped so viciously that she died from the blood loss. Despite all of this, her autopsy, the two men knowingly being with her, the blood in the van, Lynette's blood in the van,
and her underwear.
They never found the underwear in the van. That came out later in trial.
Sorry.
Despite all of this, prosecutors decided not to file charges because of lack of evidence. Then a year went by.
Excuse me, sir, but what evidence do you need?
Then a year went by. Then another, as her family and friends did everything they could to keep her case alive and demand justice. Then another year. Then 3 more years. It took almost 7 years. Prosecutors refused for 6, almost 7 years until 2017, when public outrage and outrage from the family forced them to file charges against these two men. Almost 7 years.
I don't want to speculate, but at the same time, I have a deep feeling it had to do with her drug and alcohol addiction. I don't know if the drug part was an addiction, but certainly the alcohol. Her being Aboriginal and her being a transient or vulnerable population.
Yeah, a lot of that comes out.
I really have a feeling that those are the reasons this was not taken seriously.
Yeah, a lot of that comes out later, and I'll talk more. So Paul and Adrian denied killing her. Adrian told police, quote, she was blind. She was off her fucking face last night, talking about her being drunk. Mm-hmm. He claimed that she went into the ocean to have a naked swim, then had a seizure, and he pulled her to shore to perform CPR, and that's when they called the police. The men didn't and couldn't deny the sex, but they said they had consensual group sex.
I'm not sure that those types of wounds would be consensual.
And the coroner said, even besides that, the coroner said there is no fucking way she would have been awake. No way that it could have been consensual because she would have been passed the fuck out.
With her blood alcohol level?
Yeah, there's no way. Yeah. She would have been blackout. Adrian said to police, are you ready to get mad?
I'm already mad, so sure.
Quote. This is a quote from Adrian that he said.
Okay.
So when asked how the group sex happened, whatever, he said, quote, these things happen. Girls will be girls. Boys will be boys.
No.
And this is I just want to take a quick side note. I want to talk about their history. So Paul Maris had, some of this happened, I'll just say it. You'll know by the years. Remember, her murder was in 2011.
Okay.
So Paul had 6 serious assault charges between 95 and 2005.
Go figure.
2 misdemeanor assaults, 2 counts of assaulting police, and he was put into court-ordered rehab in 2005, so 4 years after her murder. Adrian Atwater had already had 2 counts of assaulting police, one in 1994, one in 2010, and multiple DUIs between 1989 and 2008, and a few theft charges. So, boys will be boys.
Of course they will. We have to let them off the hook. What else will they do?
Paul told police that Adrian was having sex with Lynette in the backseat of his van, and that she didn't object when he jumped in the back to join in. Adrian said that he stopped when he saw blood on his hands, quote, because it stank. And there's one part, this is skip ahead, do the 15-second skip ahead if you don't want to hear, but she was so badly torn up inside. And didn't even write this because I wasn't planning on saying it, but I'm going to. She was so badly torn up. And I believe it was Paul.
Either way, it was one of the guys.
Yeah, it was one of the guys who was like, it was my fucking hand. Like, what do you want me to say? She liked it. Like, I put my hand in, but she was torn up.
I feel like there's no way you would like that.
Yeah.
Just when there's that, I get the BDSM and the pain, a little bit of pain or whatever, but there comes a point where you're like, nope, ow, that's too much.
There's blood. And I mean, it's not like you said earlier, this isn't normal, quote unquote. This isn't a case where a woman was normal, quote unquote, like you said earlier. It's not a case where 2 men raped a woman and then murdered her. They murdered her by how viciously they raped her. that's how she died. It's fucking horrific.
And also, Paul, you or Adrian, you are a liar because blood doesn't smell like anything, you dick. Yeah. Just a little irony. Not irony, but iron-like.
Yeah. So Adrian, like I said he only stopped having sex with her, raping her, because it stank when he saw the blood. Then, instead of calling police right away, Adrian said that they went into the ocean together to wash the blood off, while Paul... Well, this changes later. So first, Adrian said he dragged her into the ocean to wash off the blood, while Paul burnt her clothes in the bloody mattress.
Yeah, because that's what you would do when you had consensual group sex.
I burn my mattress after every time I have sex.
I definitely do a naked ocean swim to get the blood off me from consensual sex.
We drive all the way to San Diego and wash in the ocean.
We do it every time. Ask Caitlin and I. Like, that's our jam.
After being charged with aggravated sexual assault, Adrian's response was, quote, "I didn't know a fucking hug can kill you."
Yeah, because that's what you did there, my friend.
Literally the actual response.
Okay, if I hug you and blood is on my hands. It's frustrating.
Both pleaded not guilty.
Well,
they said it was all consensual, that she liked it, that she was sweet to them. They said that they had wild sex, but then the smell was quote, "But then the smell was terrible and we all went into the water to wash." Prosecutors were like, no, if she went into the ocean, you fucking took her. Like, she would not have been able to go into the water herself. She was either carried or dragged. There's no fucking way you all frolicked into the ocean, you asshole.
Frolicked in. Well, there's, again, the high alcohol to blood ratio and the meth. Like,
yeah,
it just isn't going to happen.
Well, not only would you not be able to walk, like the coroner was like, there's no way after being raped that viciously. So not only would you not be able to walk after that, but let's say she could, well, then there's a blood alcohol level. Like, you also can't walk after that.
Oh my God.
Prosecutor and the medical examiner said that she was either dead or dying at that moment when they took her into the ocean. Finally, after almost 7 years of prosecutors refusing to charge these men, it took the jury 30 minutes.
Oh my God.
30 minutes to find both men guilty.
Because they were normal people who are like, this is not okay, everyone.
Adrian got 19 years with parole after 15. This is in 2017, so they're still in prison. Paul got 9 years with possible parole after 6 years and 9 months.
No, that's not enough time.
I know.
For even if it's a second degree murder, like, that's not enough.
Well, and when you think about it, took 7 years to charge. So if police had charged them 7 years ago, Paul could be out by now. 6 years, 9 months, which means he could already be out because more than 7 years have gone by.
I'm sorry,
because she was murdered in 2011.
There are so many different ways to get a lot of years in prison. And this, I feel like people should stay in prison when they're a danger to society and other people. And this seems very dangerous for other people.
The case highlighted a failure in the justice system. Yeah. Many people, including her family, wondering if the police didn't care and prosecutors didn't charge because Lynette was Aboriginal and the two men were white. A lot of people said, if 2 Aboriginal men did this to a white woman, would you care? Or if 2 white men did it to a white woman, would you care? On top of that, the media hardly covered the case. So the person I mentioned in the beginning, Rosemary Joyner, the article she does, she actually interviewed, she is in Australia. I don't know if she's Australian, but she's in Australia. And she talked about doing research on this case for her own podcast. And she said that she asked 20 Australian people and none of them have heard of the case. And she asked them, well, why don't you think you had heard of it? Like, she was kind of reciting this interview. Yeah. And she said 18 of the 20 kind of looked guilty and put their heads down. And they said, was she Aboriginal? Like, they know. It's kind, it's, well, I feel not like something the media covers.
I feel like that's the same thing here or in Canada, if it's an, Native American person.
But the media does not cover basically murders of non-white people like it does white people.
Yes, it's not. Yeah.
And like you said earlier, as a homeless alcoholic, the media and people likely cared even less. So that is Lynette's horrifying story. And these 2 fucking men who everyone should know their names, so they treat them like shit for the rest of their lives.
Wow. Well,
that's the real reason we should all know murderers' names. We can treat them like shit for the rest of their lives.
Yeah, I say it every episode. How did I not know about that? But That should have been the name of our podcast. How did I not know about that?
Know. Yeah. What I kept.
Poor Lynette.
Okay, first of all, Australia, you have no fucking shortage of cases. So I was telling Sarah, so when I open up my notebook and I go to start on the new page on the right-hand side, I take the left-hand side of the last page, like the back, and I write down a bunch of names that pop up. I got to like 25 names just Googling, and I was like, oh shit. But I kept looking at her name, and I was like, she stuck with me. This case stuck with me. And I was like, I have to.
Yeah.
I don't know. I can't even explain why. There's just some cases where you feel you have to tell that story. And Lynette's was that case for me. And this case is probably going to haunt me forever.
It's certainly unique. Not in the rape aspect. That's not unique. But just in all of what happened, that's quite unique.
Yeah. Well, the way she died is just so fucking vicious and horrifying. And then it takes 30 minutes to know that they're guilty, and prosecutors are like, nah, year 2. Nah, fam, we're still not ready. Year 3. Nah, year 4. Nah, year 5 and 6.
Still
okay,
nah.
Maybe at the end of year 6, we might be ready. Like, what the fuck? I don't get it.
I just, if there's blood in their van, and they're like, yes, of course we had this sex and took her to the ocean. That seems like enough evidence.
Yeah. You know, there's always blood on the walls when you have consensual sex.
Yeah, absolutely.
Did they talk to Michael Peterson?
Did they talk to... No, I'm just going to keep naming things that'll make me mad. Never mind.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay.
If you skipped my story, now's the time to hit play.
Beer.
Now.
Hit play now.
Now.
Will be more new beers.
If you didn't skip and you're angry, go get yourself a beer while we get one, because you deserve it.
You deserve your beer. Let's do this. All right, we've got another beer.
Oh, what is it?
Caitlin and I off recording, off sound. What did they call it? Off the record? Yeah, off the record.
Off the record.
We were just talking about trivia nights in different places.
It's not off the record if you tell them.
Oh, on the record now. Anyways, my trivia team name was the Billy Crystals. What was yours at home? Please let us know.
When we played here, were you on our team when we were Bob Law's Law Blog?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't remember who came up with it in our group. And it's from...
It was me.
It's from Bob's Burgers, right?
No, that's from Arrested Development.
Oh, Arrested Development.
Bob Lob's Law Blog. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Bob Lob's Law Blog.
Bob Lob's Law Blog? Bob Lob's Law Blog.
Yeah, Bob Lob's Law Blog.
Bob Lob's Law Blog. So good.
Yeah, I didn't realize that you were there. Does that sound mean? Did I drink a lot?
It's okay. I didn't remember if you were there. I was like, were you there?
Yeah.
You're like, I came up with it, bitch.
Yeah. Bob Lob's Law Blog. Mostly because they have to announce it every time. And so I thought it would be funny for people to try to say Bob Lob's Law Blog.
But our friends, Rachel and Elisa.
Yeah. Killed it.
Kind of fuck them because whatever. No, I love them. But the trivia guy would be like, I'm going to ask a question about this. Who knows what this river that no one's ever heard of, what country it's in? And they knew it. And then they'd be like, what scientific? And they knew it. And I was like, I know who Mariah Carey's married to.
Well, like,
ask us about celebrities.
I know what blue and red makes. Ask me about that.
I felt so dumb and so worthless.
I did too, Caitlin.
Because they were like, science, we know it. Geography, we know it. And I was like, this beer is good.
New trivia name. So dumb, so worthless.
Oh, okay. The first time I ever played trivia, I promise the story's worth it. It was in Anchorage at this, it's a brewery in Anchorage. Denali Brewing Company, I believe.
Yeah, Bob Lob's Law Blog. Yeah.
I played with a group of friends, and we actually ended up we won money. Not because we won. We got second to last. So we got a gift certificate for being not last. But one of the categories, well, you haven't watched Game of Thrones, but some of you have. One of the categories was who said it, the mountain from Game of Thrones or Chef Gordon Ramsay. Harder than you think, because they'd be like, the quote would be like, fucking blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, Gordon Ramsay can't say that. That clearly is a Game of Thrones, like the mountain. And they'd be like, no, Gordon Ramsay. I'm like, he can say that? It was a harder, but it was good. It was fun.
Yeah.
Trivia is fun. Okay. We should do a trivia night.
We should. That'd be really fun. If you have a fun trivia team name, we'd love to hear it.
Email us.
Yeah, let us know.
We want emails. We want reviews. We want friends.
Okay, so we have another beer from Upslope Brewing Company. We've had a beer from them before in the past.
We have?
It's been a while. I don't remember what it was, but it wasn't this because it clearly says 2020.
How do you know it's not Yoop Slope?
How do I know it's not upslopey?